Have you ever wondered why some people try to hurt you in silence, but somehow they're the ones who end up haunted by the very pain they sent your way? It's because the universe doesn't forget. It doesn't miss a thing. Even when nobody else sees it, life sees everything. It balances every action, every word, every intention, even the ones spoken in whispers or carried in someone's thoughts. No one escapes the weight of what they send out. The universe is always listening, always responding, always returning energy to where it came from. When people try to block you, lie about you, or secretly hope to see you fail, life has a quiet, patient way of answering them. Not through revenge, but through balance. What they throw into the world always finds its way back, and not always how they expect. You may have been misunderstood, overlooked, attacked, or doubted, but you were never truly defeated. And now, something in you is rising, quietly, powerfully. The people who once tried to break you are now watching you become everything they said you'd never be. They tried to turn down your light, but now they sit in the dark, watching it grow brighter than ever. They thought they could write your ending, but you turned the page. They didn't realize you were the plot twist. You became what they feared most: resilient, focused, and unbothered. You don't need to yell. You don't need to prove anything. Your silence speaks louder than their noise. Your peace is your power, and it disturbs those who depend on chaos to feel strong. You walk through the world like you don't expect anything, but still, everything seems to align for you. And the reason is simple. You stopped playing their game. You stopped chasing approval. You stopped letting other people define your worth. You started listening to your own voice, the quiet one deep inside that's been whispering truth to you for years. That voice knows things. It knew you didn't belong in the boxes they tried to keep you in. It knew your discomfort wasn't rebellion. It was honesty. It knew you weren't meant to fit into a world that thrives on imitation and punishes authenticity. From the very beginning, you were handed a script. Be quiet. Be polite. Follow the rules. Make people comfortable. Chase titles. Seek approval. And maybe you did all that. Maybe you played along. But deep down, it never felt right. There was always a part of you that felt out of place, like you were wearing a mask and living someone else's life. That feeling, that itch in your soul, that quiet dissatisfaction, it wasn't failure. It was truth trying to wake you up. The system you were taught to serve was never meant for you. That's why it always felt so wrong. You weren't built to blend in. You were born to break out. You kept trying to make yourself smaller just to be accepted. But no matter how much you tried, something always pushed back. That something was your real self. You tried to be agreeable, to be nice, to earn your place. But your spirit couldn't breathe in a life that didn't feel true. The praise felt empty. The smiles felt fake. The success felt like a trap. And that's because it was. What they sold you as making it was really just another cage. You were chasing their dream, and it was starving your soul. Because deep inside, you always knew you weren't here to impress. You were here to awaken. And yes, that awakening can feel lonely. It's painful to realize that the people you tried to please never really saw you. It's heartbreaking to feel like the world doesn't understand you, no matter how hard you try to explain. But maybe you weren't meant to be understood by everyone. Maybe you were meant to lead. Maybe the very thing that made you feel like an outsider is the same thing that makes you rare, special, needed. You don't have to fit in with a world that was never designed for your kind of truth. You don't have to water yourself down to make others feel comfortable. That's not humility. That's self-betrayal. Your energy was never meant to blend in. It was meant to shake the ground when you walk in. And it does. You can feel it. Others can feel it too, even if they don't say it out loud. You shift the atmosphere. Even when you say nothing, you bring something different into the room. Something deep, something clear, something powerful. And that makes people uncomfortable, especially those who are still pretending. Your light exposes the things they're hiding. Your truth stirs the parts of them they've tried to bury. And that's why they might mock you, doubt you, resist you. But that's okay. It means you're doing something right. You don't need to chase what they call success. You don't need the numbers, the followers, the applause. None of that matters if you have to lose your soul to get it. You've seen behind the curtain. You know that many people who look like they've made it are falling apart inside. They wear smiles, but carry sorrow. They live in luxury, but starve for meaning. You weren't called to play that game. You weren't chosen to perform. You were chosen to lead with purpose, with presence, with integrity. That's why the things that once excited you don't move you anymore. That's why the people you used to look up to now seem empty. You've changed. You've outgrown it. And now, you're learning to walk your path without looking back. You're learning to find peace, even when no one claps for you. You're learning to stand tall, even when no one believes in you. That's the real test. Can you keep going when it's quiet? Can you still rise when no one is watching? Because that's where real power is built. In silence, in stillness, in solitude. And once you've found that strength, no one can take it from you. So let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them misunderstand. You don't owe them anything. You don't need to explain yourself to people who only listen to respond, not to understand. You don't need their permission to rise. You already have everything you need inside you. The moment you stop trying to convince others of your worth is the moment you finally step into it. And when you do, their noise becomes background music. It no longer controls you. It no longer matters. You've come too far to turn back now. You've seen too much. You felt too much. You've grown too much. You're not the same person you were before. And that's not something to be afraid of. That's something to celebrate. You're becoming who you were always meant to be. Not the version the world tried to shape, but the real you. The deep, powerful, unshakable you. So stop doubting. Stop shrinking. Stop waiting for someone else to tell you it's your time. It's already your time. You are not behind. You are right on schedule. Every delay had a purpose. Every setback was a setup. Every rejection was a redirection. Nothing was wasted. Not a single tear. Not a single silent night. Not a single moment of pain. It all built something inside you that cannot be broken. You don't have to fight to prove your worth anymore. You just have to be it. Live it. Walk in it. And everything meant for you will find you. Not because you chased it, but because you became the kind of person who naturally attracts what's aligned. This is your time now. The moment where the old you fades and the real you finally steps into the light. You didn't come this far just to blend in. You came to lead, to shift, to awaken. And no matter how much the world resists, no matter how many people don't understand, nothing can stop what's already moving through you. You are not lost. You are rising. They didn't reject you because something was wrong with you. They rejected you because something in you was too real, too raw, too powerful for them to handle. You stood out in a world that is used to masks, lies, and pretending. You showed up with truth in your eyes, purpose in your steps, and energy that couldn't be faked. And when you carry something that pure, something that strong, it makes people uncomfortable. Your honesty, your energy, your refusal to conform. It doesn't sit well with people who are still living in denial. That's why they pulled back. That's why they mocked you or left you out. It was never about you not being enough. It was about you being too much for places that were never meant to hold you. You weren't created to blend in. You were created to carry something different, something sacred. So every time a door slammed, it was protection. Every time someone ghosted you, it was redirection. The people who couldn't accept you were never meant to walk your path. The rooms that couldn't hold your voice were never meant to carry your purpose. Your path is sacred. You are rare. And rare things aren't always recognized by the blind. So don't see rejection as a loss. See it as confirmation. See it as alignment. Because while they were pushing you away, you were being pulled closer to everything that is real, everything that is meant, everything that is yours. You've been hiding for too long. You've been making yourself smaller, dimming your light, holding back your truth. You did it to make others feel comfortable. You did it because you didn't want to make others feel insecure. You did it because you were waiting for someone to finally see you, choose you, notice you. But they didn't. And maybe that's because they were never meant to. You were never meant to be seen by just anyone. You were marked by something higher long before the world ever knew your name. Every room that overlooked you, every person who passed you by, every opportunity that never came, it wasn't punishment. It was preparation. You were being built in silence. You were being preserved for the right moment. What looked like failure was actually protection. What looked like delay was actually divine timing. You weren't being forgotten. You were being readied. You weren't invisible. You were hidden for a purpose. Because what you carry is not ordinary. It's heavy. It's powerful. It's meant for something bigger. And not everyone is ready for it. So stop waiting for permission to shine. You don't need it. Stop trying to be seen by people who were never meant to understand you. Heaven saw you long before they ignored you. And that's why you're still here. You were never made to play small. You were made to take up space. You were made to walk in power. You are not too much. You are exactly right. You've spent so long thinking you were the one being hurt, the one under attack, the one who didn't belong. But the truth is, you were never the victim. You were always the threat. They didn't walk away because you were wrong. They walked away because you were right, and they couldn't handle that. You didn't have to say anything. Your silence alone made them nervous. Your presence changed the energy in the room. You weren't trying to make waves, but your spirit did. You weren't looking to challenge anyone, but your truth made them feel exposed. They couldn't understand you, and what people can't understand, they fear. You weren't made in the same mold. While others chased comfort, you chased growth. While others copied each other, you were figuring out the deeper patterns. While they stayed the same, you were evolving. And now, they can feel it. They don't know what to do with someone who doesn't need their approval. That's why they try to break you. That's why they distanced themselves. You scared them without even trying. But that's not your problem. You weren't made to be understood by everyone. You were made to awaken something ancient, something bold, something true. And now that you finally see yourself clearly, now that you've stopped apologizing for being who you are, the people who feared your power are trembling. Because now, you've woken up, and nothing scares small minds more than a powerful soul who knows exactly what they are. You've been delaying your next move, waiting for everything to be perfect, for the timing to feel just right. But waiting is costing you. Every second you spend overthinking, doubting, or hesitating, something meant for you slips a little further away. You weren't made to sit still. You weren't meant to stay quiet. You carry fire, and fire doesn't wait. The people who move late rarely arrive on time. You weren't made to follow the crowd. You are the alignment. You are the sign. You already carry what you're waiting for. So why hesitate? That tugging you feel in your chest, that discomfort when you delay, that's purpose calling you to move. And the longer you wait, the louder the doubt becomes. Doubt doesn't need truth. It only needs time. Every time you wait, fear grows stronger. But you weren't built to live in fear. You were built to leap, even if you're scared. You were built to step, even if the path isn't fully clear. The biggest victories in life go to those who move, those who jump while others are still measuring the edge. That's who you are. That's why you were chosen. But being chosen means nothing if you don't move. So don't wait. Don't pause. Don't overthink. Kill the delay. Take the step. Everything you've been waiting for is waiting on you. You've been told that silence is safe, that staying quiet is the smart move. But silence was never your destiny. You weren't made to blend in. You weren't created to be soft when the world needed your strength. You were given a voice that breaks illusions, a presence that wakes people up. You've seen things. You've felt deep pain. You've survived moments that were meant to break you. And all of it shaped the truth that lives in your spirit. That truth is not meant to stay hidden. It's meant to be spoken. Boldly, honestly, fearlessly. The silence they praised, that wasn't for your protection. It was for theirs. Because they knew that the moment you spoke, the moment you stopped holding back, their lives would start to fall apart. They feared your voice because it doesn't echo, it disrupts. You've been quiet long enough. You've been watching and waiting and calculating. But now, it's time. The silence that once felt like wisdom has become a prison. And you were never meant to live in a cage. You were born to roar. Your voice is the sound some people have been waiting their whole lives to hear. So don't hide it anymore. Speak loudly, clearly, without apology. Because the moment you do, everything around you will begin to change. The fake will fall silent. The masks will fall off. And the chains will begin to break. Your truth carries power. And the world needs it now more than ever. This is not just another message. This is the call, the final one. And not everyone will hear it. Not because it's not loud, but because it's not meant for everyone. You feel it, that pressure in your soul, That tug that won't go away. That restlessness that shows up just before your whole life changes. That's not anxiety. That's destiny. That's the signal. You weren't meant to sleepwalk through life. You weren't meant to wait for signs in the sky. You are the sign. And now, the moment is here. The gates are open. The time is now. But this call isn't for the passive. It's for the ones who know they were made for more. For the ones who can't be bought, silenced, or broken. For the ones who understand that every second matters now. You weren't invited by chance. You were chosen on purpose. And chosen ones don't beg for permission. They move with fire in their hearts. They rise with clarity in their eyes. They act, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. So this is your moment. This is your answer. Not with your words, but with your life. Say yes by stepping forward. Say yes by rising. Say yes by owning every part of who you are. Because the world isn't waiting for more people to stay quiet. It's waiting for someone like you to move. And once you move, nothing will ever be the same again.